Greetings, people of the internet. This is Jammin Hyaku bringing you my rating on Evoland. So this is actually my first rating on a game, or a review actually, so there's a lot of different factors that I bring into play when I consider what I'm going to give this game after just recently playing it. You can see I actually got a haircut recently since my videos on Evoland, but yeah. Okay, so some of the major factors that I bring in when rating the game is the graphics, the storyline, the gameplay, and how smooth the game runs and how well it was made. So there's about 4 different factors with a bunch of different sub-factors underneath of those. And then I rate each factor of the game and then figure out a total rating for it. So the first factor of the game is I'm going to focus on is graphics. I'm going to give the first sub thing under that is how if the graphics are high definition or if they achieve the graphics that they wanted to achieve. So say it was like a game back in the 1980s, they wanted to achieve a new resolution of graphics. Maybe like, they're like really old, I don't know, talk about like 16-bit graphics or something, like even 8-bit. But that's the graphics they wanted to achieve because obviously we didn't have high definition graphics back in the 1980s. But as long as they achieved what they were planning for, it gets a good mark in my books. Okay, so for the graphics in Evoland, I gave this actually an 8.3 out of 10. So it relatively got everything it wanted, but there was some bugs. It wasn't completely smooth, but everything they wanted to happen I think they achieved, so it got a relatively good mark. The next subcategory is the quality of the graphics. So everything was pretty smooth in the quality. It got HD at some points. It started off with its pixely graphics, and that was the intended thing that it hoped to achieve in the game. So I gave it that, and with that it got a 7.2 out of 10. The next category I'm going to focus on is the storyline of the game. So this game wasn't heavily focused on the story, but it was still there. The first subcategory I'm going to look at is the plot holes. There wasn't really many plot holes actually, but I guess that is focused a lot on how small the actual story was in the game. But considering there still wasn't many plot holes, it achieved a 9 out of 10, because what plot holes really were there? If there are any that you think that I missed, feel free to leave that in the comments and I'll take a look. The next subcategory is how in-depth the storyline was. So the story really wasn't that in-depth. It was really just your basic hero, go save people, save the world, defeat the darkness, and evil kind of thing. So I only gave that a 6.5 out of 10. Although the story I did like it. It was kind of touchy-feely. It makes you sad at some parts. It was interesting. It was your classic game, but it wasn't really anything completely original, I guess. The next subcategory is actually how interesting the game is. So the story was sort of interesting, I guess, but like I just said, it was just your basic storyline, so I gave that a 7 out of 10. And the originality of the story, I gave that a 5 out of 10, because it really was just your basic, kind of like a rip-off of Legend of Zelda, Final Fantasy, all those older games. I know it was heavily influenced by the games, but that doesn't change the fact that the storyline wasn't very original. The next category is the gameplay. This is one of the most important categories when rating a game, I think, as it's just about everything you see throughout the entire span of the game. So, the first category is the controls, how awkward they were or how simple they were to use. The controls were pretty easy, although they were a little stiff at some points. At no point in the game did you unlock the ability to shoot in 8 different directions. It was always just your like basic 1, 2, 3, 4, like your D-pad with no diagonal options. It was kind of annoying, and that did progress through the through time and stuff. Like we did get that at some point, so they could have added that in some way just to make the controls a little less blocky. But other than that, it was pretty decent controls. 7.3 out of 10. The interface menu, how easy it was to use. I gave this a 5 out of 10 simply because the interface wasn't very easy to use. In fact, it was rather annoying. The interface changes at several points throughout the game. At some points it's just a simple 3-block thing where you select the item that you want to use. Other times it shows your items and how much money you have. Although in this category. You can't use anything, all you can do is view your stuff. It's kind of pointless. There's nothing really to do, and even the exit button is its own button that has nothing to do with the interface. So the interface is almost sort of pointless. So it wasn't a great thing, but yeah, 5 out of 10. Okay, the next category is immersive, like the cutscenes, how good they are, how much it brings you into the game, the information you gather from them and everything. I give that an 8.4 out of 10. The cutscenes were pretty cool, where nearing the end of the game where you are introduced to the main antagonist, it got pretty immersive there, and you learn quite a lot about the enemies. If you really like the RPG genre, then it's pretty good. It was pretty immersive after all. It was good. And the originality of the gameplay, I gave this a 9.5 out of 10, because it was, by originality I don't mean originality like the storyline, I mean like in the gameplay here, the physics and everything that happens. The originality of how you are progressing through the game and through time. You go back and forth through time from the old pixely graphics to the high definition. I thought that was pretty original. I myself have never seen that in a game before other than this, so it was pretty original, and I think it well deserves that 9.5 out of 10. That's the physics of this is what this game is known for, and that's what everyone loves it for, so it deserves that rating. The soundtrack of the game, I gave that an 8.7 out of 10. I found myself really liking some of the soundtracks, especially near the final boss battle. I'll let you listen to that a little bit here. It's a pretty cool song, I think. The soundtracks of the game really weren't original. They really ripped off The Legend of Zelda, games like that. Again, I know it's heavily influenced by those games, but it's not very original. The sound was good though, and in some points of the game it was kind of boring, just like background elevator music. But overall it was relatively decent. And the final category I'm going to look at is the smoothness of the game and how well it was made and how smooth it runs. I'm not talking about on how well your computer is, because I have a relatively decent laptop, and I would just personally, you should be able to expect a game like this to run pretty smoothly on a laptop that's pretty high quality, and yet sometimes it still lagged and glitched and stuff, so that's a little disappointing, I guess, in this game. But the first subcategory is glitches and texture problems. I gave this game a 6 out of 10 because there was some levels, or actually one level in particular, where you're in a dungeon and the texture was stretched really far across the map, and it wasn't until you unlocked a chest that the textures actually fixed itself. I wasn't sure if the game had planned to have this or what, but it really wasn't very professional looking. My friend had this happen as well, so it just confirms that it was a glitch or texture problem. Anyway, the next subcategory is the bugs and how many bugs there are in the game. I gave this a 9.5 out of 10. I didn't really actually find any, or at least many, bugs through my playthrough of the game. It ran pretty well. The next category, freezing and lag. So, there wasn't really a whole lot of freezing, although at some points it did lag when there was an excessive amount of people on the screen, or when you get raided or something. There's just mobs of people everywhere. It got kind of laggy. It slowed down. It started making funny noises with the audio. It wasn't that smooth, and like I said, it should be able to run pretty fine on a higher gaming end laptop computer. But that's why I got a 6.5 out of 10. And the last subcategory of the last category is how blocky the controls are. So I gave that an 8.5 out of 10, because like I said earlier, they were pretty blocky. They weren't the smoothest and they're the nicest controls, but they were doable. They worked for the game. I think this game's highest strong point was its gameplay, in the fact of how you progress through time and the originality of that. So overall, I gave this game a strong 7.6 out of 10. It was actually 7.55, but due to rounding and stuff in the factors, I just factored it up to 7.6. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. I highly recommend it to anyone who likes the RPG genre and that older kind of classic game. It was a good, like, blast to the past, reminder of the old games and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. The story was good. It was a good game overall, and I think it got a relatively good mark or rating. So thanks for watching. This has been my review on Evoland. Thanks for watching.